In the world cultural lexicon, there is the term Greek tragedy, which was introduced in the 5th century BC from the ancient Greek heritage, which was describing the theatrical situation that was presenting works about the deterioration and collapse of the human personality after a continuous series of tragedies, lapses and failures caused by man himself or the accumulation of it happened around him and affected him negatively. And this term has become used to describe all similar situations that occur to humans, societies, nations, or peoples in general around the world. I firmly believe that we can add, in social and political terms in the Arab world, a new special term, which is the Lebanese tragedy, because the Lebanese case is a unique case that psychologists, sociologists, political scientists, and economists can diagnose, to all reach a painful and clear inevitable result. It is that Lebanon is a beautiful country destroyed by its own people. While the Lebanese were preparing to celebrate their important centenary on the occasion of the centenary of the founding of Greater Lebanon, as it is described, today this occasion comes upon them while they are in the worst humanitarian, living, economic and political conditions they have experienced in their history. Lebanon, which was supposed to celebrate Independence Day, lives today under occupation, colonialism, and exploitation in all its ugly, humiliating forms and means. Lebanon today is no longer similar to the great Lebanon that was founded 100 years ago, whose dreams were as high as the sky, inspired the countries of the East in its renaissance and ambitions, and was a forerunner in achieving many achievements. Today Lebanon is a broken, occupied country. In their important book Why Countries Fail, The Origins of Power, Prosperity, and Poverty, the authors Darren Acemoglu and James Robinson discuss the reasons for the failure of countries to achieve their dreams and plans, and they reach a very important pivotal point that can be linked to what happened in Lebanon, of course, which is that countries that fail in creating institutions that protect these aspirations away from the personalization of individual action and its tendencies and fluctuations. The state protects itself from any imbalance in the fates of individual personalities, which is exactly what Lebanon was unable to achieve and led to the deterioration of its conditions in the sad, worrying and frightening way it is today. There is no doubt that the Lebanese experience, with its various dimensions, which resembles an unfulfilled dream and an edifice of Fawwa's imagination, will be a very rich subject for students of science in the disciplines of sociology, politics, and economics to know and analyze the causes of the sudden rise and great collapse of this small country in its size and large in its mobility and ambitions. It is worth comparing, and it is undoubtedly true, between the ancient Greek tragedy and the new Lebanese tragedy. Two countries that both had ambitions and dreams beyond small borders, collapsed for various reasons and turned into a state of exemplary human tragedy. In Lebanon, its current tragedy is that it has not dealt with reality, got rid of the legacy of sectarianism, and transformed itself into a national civil state that is not led from outside and affected by outside influence, as has happened since the Declaration of Independence until this moment. It is certain that Lebanon was affected by international and regional foreign interventions, but the biggest problem remains that it is he who allows this influence to have a destructive role at the level of the country as a whole, not the occupation taking place today on Lebanese soil by terrorist groups that control and influence the country. In short, it is the Lebanese tragedy. As I write these lines, I remember what the late great Lebanese historian Kamal al-Salebi wrote in his important book The Modern History of Lebanon, which he wrote in the mid-60s of the last century, specifically 50 years after the founding of the state of Greater Lebanon. The following, Lebanon, as a historical unit within the political framework, was a group of harmonious sects at this time, and of course, as the days proved, this was nothing but a romantic, sentimental view completely far from the different and painful reality. I do not know why historians and politicians find a saying that this country, which founded and named Lebanon, had its primary goal in creating a Christian homeland for the Maronites of the East in the heart of the Arab Mashreq, and this matter received international acceptance and sponsorship at the highest level. And because this goal was not clear, it gave birth to distorted political projects that allowed foreign and regional interventions in all its forms, and led to the dependencies of a well-established organization at the expense of the entity that was established and was supposed to be a homeland that includes everyone. What happened in Lebanon confirms that the solution always lies in the civil state based on the law, which protects its citizens with all their affiliations and preserves them in one container, not for the benefit of one group over another, one sect over another, one sect over another, or one religion over another. Lebanon would not have accommodated everyone one day because it was governed by the principle of a sect that conquers, wins, and wins, even if it sought the help of the devil from outside or the devils from within. Unfortunately, the result was civil war, dispersal, destruction, economic collapse and fragmentation of dreams, which is the Lebanese tragedy that the world is witnessing today and is following it with great sadness.